I remember the first YouTube channel I created, it was my first full name, Leotis Brown Jr. And one of the videos I made was showing the feminist movement with the picture of a black female and a white female. And I had did a video about it, telling how the white female used the black female to push their agenda. And for that video, my channel was shut down. So this is my second channel. You know, I'm no stranger to how Europeans use us black people to push their agenda. There was a picture on YouTube, it was an advertisement showing a black male and a white female pushing an agenda for Valentine's Day. In other words, promoting interracial relationships. You know, their sick definition of diversity. You know, my personal take on that is, first, you don't allow no other person, especially a non-black person, pushing interracial relationships. We as black people need to redefine who we are. We need to keep our racial identity intact, our racial integrity intact. And we have not been doing a good job of that. We steady want to keep including non-black people. And that's why any movement that we have created has not went anywhere. Now, I know some of my brothers and sisters on the continent are going to be upset with me, but I have to say that Kwame Nkrumah was not for African people because he had married a white woman. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm familiar with him. I know some about his story and how he was for black liberation. But then I question, if you are with a white woman, how are you for black liberation? It shows that you got black people who are so-called Pan-Africanists or pro-black or B1 that they are not serious about black liberation. Because some of them have white spouses or other non-black spouses. We as black people, true African people, have to be careful of these hypocrites. And another example of one of these hypocrites is Candace Owens. She talks about black issues and politics. And most of us do know that she's full of shit. And the only time she comes out is when those Europeans want her to come out. And in my opinion, I don't believe she believes none of the things she says. She just doing it for the money. And then you had this brother called Kwame Brown, who used to play for the Lakers. He gets on YouTube talking about black people, but he also praises white people. You know, his sole purpose is to push manhood to black men. But then I question, how can you talk about manhood to other black men, at the same time putting down black men and praising white men and other non-black men? And then talk about baby mamas and baby daddies. And you yourself as a black man that's promoting manhood is not married to none of your baby mamas. Go figure that one out. And honestly, I don't care if he sees this video, because I don't know the nigga personally. And I don't care about his life, but when I see hypocrisy, it has to be called out. Because you can sit up here online and talk about other people, we could talk about you too. That's why people like him and Candace should be taken seriously. And then we go here to Tariq Nasheed. He's the founder of Foundational Black Americans, which is an African hate group, so to speak. I personally believe he's being funded by the white nationalists, also known as racist white supremacists, as you like to call them. I personally call them white inferiorities because they're weak and they have to use black people to push their agenda. This black man talks about how we are aboriginals of America when there's clear historical evidence that debunks all of that. This black man conned black people out of $1.4 million plus for a museum that he's never going to build. He put that money in his pocket so he could go buy Bentleys, take care of his white mother-in-law, that gated community that he stays in. He's a hypocrite. You know, a hypocrite is more dangerous than a liar. And you have a lot of liars on YouTube. So you got to be careful. That's why it's so important to do your own independent research. That is why we have the internet. We can use it to combine not only research with what's online, but also with books as well. You know, my purpose of coming to YouTube was to help bridge the gap with our brothers and sisters on the African continent. As you know, I feel the pain of what my brothers and sisters go through on there, because we go through it here as well. I hate to say, but black on black crime is real. But black on black crime started with white on black crime. Many of us don't want to touch that topic because we get all emotional. We need to stop getting emotional and start thinking with logic and reasoning. We could talk about the problem, but we also need to have solutions and implement these solutions. And that's something, me personally, that myself I haven't done. Because, you know, one person can't do it all by themselves. So I like to reach out to my brothers and sisters here on YouTube. Not just sit up here and talk about our issues on YouTube, but get off of YouTube and do things in silence. So that way we can build ourselves economically, so that way we can solve the issues that plagues us so much. We don't need no help of any outsiders. Our ancestors didn't need help of outsiders. So why all of a sudden now we need help from Europeans and Arabs and Asians and Mexicans? Why is it that we always involve non-black people in black issues as if we can't solve them ourselves? Black Wall Street is a good example of showing how we was able to solve our own economic issues. But what also I learned about Black Wall Street is that they didn't have a black militia to protect the black economy. because eventually it fell because of jealous Europeans. So we can build another Black Wall Street, not online, but in real business as physical, like owning buildings and building up industries that will employ our people. Therefore, making robbery and black on black crime non-existent, and create our own militias so that way we don't have to serve in the European armies or armed forces. Because anytime we join any of the armed forces, it's not to our benefit. It is to their benefit and protecting their interests. So why would you not want to protect your own interests? That's the system that is designed here in America, is to protect the interests of the Europeans. It's not to protect the interests of black people. So you ask, what do we do first? My suggestion is that we start educating ourselves. I mean, right now, this generation, our ancestors already laid the foundation out for us to do. They laid out the mindset as well as the problems they faced and the mistakes they made. And it's up to us in this generation to correct those mistakes and to build a better future for the next generation. Not what you see today. This is not who we are as black people. You know, as much as I hate to say it, during the period of slavery, we were more united as we are now. They always preach to us this day and age about individualism. While you have European nations, Asian nations, Mexican nations, Arab nations think as one, while we think as separate. And this is just from my observation and the readings I've took so far. Now you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm far from perfect, and I'm always up to learning. You had the NAACP that was created in 1908 by 3 white people and 3 black people. And out of the 118 plus, out of the 111 years, I think it is, nothing has changed for black people. Which means we need to build our own true African organization. And a good example is the UNIA, created by Marcus Garvey. He had a great plan for our people. The Back to Africa movement was strong. He had 2 million plus. You know, when I first read his book and the philosophies and teachings of Marcus Garvey, it showed his first class of graduates, all black. So it is very well possible to create African-centered schools. He was a brilliant man, and he understood what needed to be done for our people. I would suggest you pick up the book, The Philosophy and Teachings of Marcus Garvey. We also have another brother by the name of Amos Wilson, who wrote 7 to 8 dynamic books, one of them being The Blueprint for Black Power, which is an excellent read. It may be 800 plus pages, but it's an excellent read for those who are truly serious about black liberation. Because this generation of black people, we need to correct the mistakes that our ancestors made and take the right things our ancestors did. Have the mindset of our brothers and sisters who created Wall Street, but also made the correction of having a black militia to protect what we are building. And we need to quit focusing so much energy on other non-blacks and focus on us and building us up. Because when we build us up, the last thing we're worrying about is anybody else, because we'll be able to protect our own. We need to think as a nation, not as individuals. We don't always have to agree on everything, but the one thing we universally need to agree is that we need to unite with one another, keep our racial integrity intact, defend our racial pride, support one another's businesses, keep the money among us, not putting it in the pockets of those who hate us. Because regardless if you shop with them, it's not going to change how they feel about you. We need to learn to think with logic and reasoning, not with emotion. We need to work on our unity in our homes before we're talking about unifying with one another. We can't talk about unifying an entire world of black people when most of us can't be unified within our own homes. We need to work on our culture. And that starts with redefining the definition of who we are and not allowing any non-black person to define who we are. Portraying our women as hoes, dots, and streetwalkers on TV. But respectable, beautiful black women with their natural hair. Not projecting what they show on TV with some black females wearing wigs and weaves and short dresses, looking like she about to go to the club or work the corner. And this is no disrespect to you, my sisters, but you need to take a real good look at yourself. And ask yourself, well, this is the image I want to portray to my daughter or any young black female who looks up to me. Because the American way is not the African way. And to my brothers, and we talk about having a patriarch, we need to first recognize that we need the black woman, not put her down. Because just as well as you've been hurt, she's been hurt also by the very same people. And she's constantly being disrespected. And it's our duty to protect her. And I see some of us black males are weak-minded and pathetic and a disgrace to our ancestors. We need to fix that image. And it starts at home. If you're not going to be in a relationship with a female, you don't need to be having sex with her. Because just as much as they have a choice, we have a choice too not to sleep with that woman. We need to have the mindset of creating black families, not baby daddies and baby mamas as you see today. It is our responsibility of this generation to correct the mistakes. Otherwise, we're just going to keep sliding down. You know, as a black male, I made a lot of mistakes in my personal life. You know, I want to correct the mistakes that I made. And I want to show other young brothers who feel as though they don't have no one they can talk to. You're welcome here. I may not have all the answers, but we can work together to get the answers. Because I want us to have a healthy relationship with our women. A healthy, strong brotherhood that does not involve being a homosexual. I want to bridge the gap with my brothers and sisters on the African continent. But for us to do that, it starts with at home. It starts with doing your own independent research. And if you truly want to know about what's going on in Africa, then we can make plans to take trips out there. That way we can start bridging the gap with our brothers and sisters. Because they're going through it too. They're dealing with the same corruption in the government as we are here. You'd be surprised what the black women in Africa go through. They need the help of our sisters. That's why I just don't understand the purpose of having the FBA and ADOS who goes against the very thing of uniting with our African brothers and sisters. It truly bothers me. You know, you can like the video, leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section. What solutions do you have that we can put into practice? I'm always up for learning. That's why I love reading the comments. I may not respond to them right away, but eventually I will get to them. Because I'm not above learning. I love my brothers and sisters. And there are some of them who I do not call brothers and sisters because they have the mindset of the white man and the white woman. Let's work on bridging the gap in our homes. And then we could work on bridging the gap with our brothers and sisters on the continent. So that way we could overthrow the so-called powers that be and take back what's rightfully ours, which is our minds, our bodies, our resources, our artifacts. I'm tired of seeing my brothers and sisters. I'm tired of us being in disarray. We need to clean the trash among ourselves first before we can implement any real economic plan. We got to get on board with brothers and sisters who are serious. Again, leave your comments in the comment section. Share your thoughts, share your opinions. Let's truly keep this conversation going. I would like to hear from you, my brothers and sisters.